Do all sober people like to have no alcohol at all? Some do, some don't. Sobriety is a complex topic. One drink is both too much and not enough. You're mixing up non-drinkers with former alcoholics. Sober just means you're not intoxicated. A former alcoholic had an addiction that can be triggered. They wouldn't touch alcohol. Some may venture into foods that have alcohol cooked away, but even that's unlikely if you can taste it, etc. A formerly severe alcoholic wouldn't go there. Note on desserts, many are soaked in alcohol after baking, etc. It's very clearly there. Non-drinkers may not mind. Again, depends on their reason. If it's religious, vegan, some alcohol is not vegan, or medical, etc. Their beliefs or rules differ. And some alcoholics may have quit after a dependency that's not as severe, or their main addiction was not alcohol itself, etc. Maybe they don't mind transference or cooking with alcohol. But in general, addiction requires absolute quitting, or people tend to slide back. You can't just ask them to have a bit, it's not okay. It's like giving that friend who used to smoke one ciggy while out, they'd easily buy a pack 5 later. Rule of thumb, it's not your business why someone is sober. I hope you didn't pressure your friend. Some folks don't want alcohol at all. It's not just all sober people. Taste, beliefs, alcoholism, and health medication are big reasons folks don't want to go anywhere near alcohol. This is your friend. Why don't you ask him about his relationship with alcohol? I don't judge anyone else, but, for me, no alcohol means just that. I won't eat or use anything that contains it, like, for instance, beer battered cod, mouthwash containing alcohol, sherry trifle or liqueur sweets, to name but a few. That attitude has kept me sober for nearly 10 years. Look at it another way. Why are you so insistent that they have alcohol? Is there some reason they have to have some? If you consider this person a friend, why don't you respect their choices? It's my understanding that the alcohol in tiramisu doesn't have alcohol that has been cooked off, but it's the actual alcohol. Depending on why your friend is abstaining, that could have been a bridge too far for him. People are sober for many reasons: health, a medication they take, addiction either directly or a family history of it, religious beliefs, etc. If someone doesn't drink, it's terrible to try to pressure them into doing so. Sounds like he struggled hard enough with putting the drink down that he avoids gathers that most likely result in letting his guard down to indulge in a drink. For a former recovering alcoholic, it only takes a little bit for a person to fall off the wagon. The same is true of any addiction. You're a crappy friend if you ask them this. Some people also avoid alcohol as a part of their faith. No one should be expected to break their beliefs because it's culturally uncool. For alcoholics, the chemical reaction from alcohol entering their body is a very serious risk to them. They know if they introduce alcohol in any form back into their body that it can and will trigger their cravings and snowball to hell fast. The ones that have learned through years of trying to moderate know that any alcohol is entirely too much. Some people find just the taste of alcohol enough to throw them off the wagon. Sobriety is a maintenance thing. Like with any addiction, there's always the risk of going back to it if you aren't careful. Why do alcoholic people always need to push alcohol onto somebody else like a good Christian? If you're his friend, you should be supporting his decision, not failing to understand the way he feels. The way this was written makes me think you made them explain themselves. Tiramisu is basically a cocktail in food form with some recipes. I think this specific example would be a no-go for most sober people, whereas some sober people might be okay with a dish where the alcohol is cooked out or very minor, like vanilla extract. All X is a wildly strong claim that is almost certainly false in all contexts. Do most people consume zero alcohol? I would say yes, but all? The answer can only be no. One is too many and a case isn't enough. Told to me by an ex-alcoholic. There is no safe amount of alcohol one can consume. Really does it for me as a collie sober person. I'm sober and I don't mind foods that have the alcohol cooked out, but once was given a dessert by someone with alcohol in it and was really disappointed after. I understand where he's coming from.